Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I mostly post Let's Plays, but today I wanted to make a video talking about The Mandalorian and everything that we know about it. I'm a huge fan of Mandalorians, and this show, whether it does good or not, will hold a special place in my heart. I'm going to start off talking about some of the set photos and talk a little bit about what I expect from the show. After that, I'm going to talk about the people that have been announced and that are working on the show, including one person that will blow your mind. Now, there might be some light spoilers for the ending of Rebels, so if you still haven't watched that, well, go do that now. The Mandalorian will have 10 episodes in its first season with a $100 million budget, which averages about $10 million per episode. For comparison, Game of Thrones cost about $6 million per episode, and Breaking Bad cost about $3 million for each episode. We know that the show will be set 3 years after Return of the Jedi. That's 7 ABY. Showrunner Jon Favreau has previously worked on Star Wars as the voice of Pre Vizsla, leader of the Death Watch, so I'm sure that he has a better understanding than most of what it means to be Mandalorian. While there have been no announcements on who the cast will be, Bryce Dallas Howard and Taika Waititi will have secondary roles, with Taika Waititi playing a droid. There's a strong theory that may link German director-actor Werner Herzog to the film, though there is no speculation as to what role he will have. The last piece of speculation I want to talk about before diving into the facts is that I've heard people say the titular character could be Boba Fett or Sabine Wren. Neither of these seem likely to me, and it's more likely that they will script a brand new character. First off, this is clearly a male character. The armor is too bulky, and every female we have seen has had the Night Owl helmet style. Add to that the fact that Sabine wears even less armor than other Mandalorians and dual wields blaster pistols. She just doesn't fit the role. Now, as for Boba Fett, I will admit the weapon could be interpreted as him being under the helmet. The problem with that is that he only used that weapon once, and Boba uses a jetpack, unlike our titular Mandalorian. Also, Boba Fett wouldn't, in my mind at least, abandon his father's armor. He's developed an impressive reputation and wouldn't lose it so easily. I also don't believe that Disney wants to touch the Sarlacc pit escape thing. They've been pretty resistant thus far to really embrace large parts of Legends, and canonically, Boba is dead. We've seen some set photos. Obviously, there's the picture of the titular Mandalorian. He has more layers underneath his armor than other Mandalorians that we've seen. He has the traditional Boba Jango helmet without the rangefinder there. His shoulder plates are two different sizes and colors, which gives it a patchwork feeling. I would say this guy isn't a traditional Mandalorian. Maybe he's an outsider. He looks like he has a tassel or a cloak over his right shoulder, a nice nod to the classic Boba outfit. He's got a rifle slung over his back, and the sling has several cylinders on them. These could be ammunition for his weapon. They could be code cylinders, a way to carry classified information that interfaces with computers. We see these a lot on Imperial officers. Or they could be beradium core code key thermal detonators. These are the cylinders worn on the belt of clone and stormtroopers. The background looks like slums reminiscent of Tatooine, although Mandalore is a wasteland during Rebels, so I suppose it could be there too. Now, the next image we have is of two stormtroopers without their helmets on, standing in front of what is clearly to me a Tatooine building. The door looks about the same as the ones used in Episode 4, so I'm confident in saying that this is Tatooine. It is also telling that the plot that this show was stated to take place outside of the New Republic territory, and there are two Galactic Empire stormtroopers here. Does that mean that we will see the Imperial remnants? Maybe the Warlord factions. Maybe the Galactic Empire remained intact, but much weaker, and therefore forced into the Outer Rim worlds. It'll be interesting to see how the First Order moved into the known galaxy. Maybe they slowly insert agents and turn the Empire into the First Order? Maybe the Empire finally breaks during a series, and then the First Order drops in all at once. However it happens, we know that the members of the Empire High Command went on to join the First Order. And this image is from Jon Favreau's Instagram. Based on the stock, it looks like the weapon we saw on the back of the main character, except that it doesn't have a sling. It might not have the sling on it here in this picture, or this could be an entirely different weapon with just a similar stock. What is cool about it is that it's clearly this weapon from the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, for those of you who don't know what the holiday special is, it was George Lucas's attempt of an offshoot musical movie revolving around Life Day, Wookiee Christmas. But it got real weird real quick. After its first airing, it was pulled from rotation and pretty much every version of it in existence was destroyed. I'll include a link to it if you truly hate yourself in the details of this video. One of the few highlights of this sad entry in Star Wars was the animated short that introduced Boba Fett, a bounty hunter in the employ of Darth Vader who saves the good guys to earn their trust before betraying them. His weapon is some sort of non-lethal beam lance as compared to the traditional blasters which shoot small bursts of plasma. Now, with a $100 million budget, this show doesn't have to pull any punches on special effects. So I'm hoping that this is a beam lance type weapon, but I would understand if they kept it as a conventional blaster type weapon with the style of the holiday special weapon. The last picture that I have is also from Jon Favreau's Instagram. Anyone who knows about the little behind the scenes things or is an action figure collector will know about Willrow Hood, also known as the ice cream guy. He was seen during the Bespin scene where everyone is running away from the Empire who are invading the city. He is carrying what many thought was an ice cream maker. I can't help but think the similarity is too much of a coincidence. In Legends, Willrow Hood was a rebel agent, and the item he was carrying was a computer core with a lot of information on rebel contacts. This might just be a background item that Jon Favreau was excited to include, or maybe we'll have a train job episode where they have to steal a computer core. Honestly, I'm down for either. So now I'd like to move over to the crew who have been announced thus far and talk about what they bring to the table, as well as the single most exciting piece of Star Wars news in recent history. So for directors, we have Dave Filoni, with work on Avatar, The Last Airbender, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Rebels, and Resistance. I think everyone agrees that he's an amazing person to have on this project, especially any Star Wars project. Then we have Deborah Chow. She worked on Jessica Jones and Beauty and the Beast, the 2012 government conspiracy one, not the fairy tale. We can see a darker undertone here, which is perfect as this is about a Mandalorian gunfighter living beyond the confines of civilized space. We also have Rick Famuyiwa. From Brown Sugar to Dope to Confirmation, he shows a gift for challenging traditional notions and not shying away from sensitive issues like racial inequality and sexual assault involving public officials. Now, he will no longer be working on the new Flash movie due to creative differences, probably because DC doesn't want to rock the boat, which is good for us because it means he can put more work into The Mandalorian. I think that any fiction, and certainly Star Wars given its history, needs to challenge real-world issues, and Rick Famuyiwa will bring an important viewpoint to the show. Bryce Dallas Howard, while she is an established actress, she hasn't done much directing. She worked on a series of shorts about topics like romantic relationships, family problems, an alien falling in love with a human, and, to me most importantly, mental illnesses. She's also worked on a documentary about Vanity Fair magazine, so she's going to be able to work more with procedural stuff too. Clearly, I think that she brings a lot to the table given how little she's directed, and I look forward to seeing how she influences the personality of the show. Last for these guys, it's Taika Waititi, perhaps best known for Thor Ragnarok and Team Thor, that comical short where he has the roommate. He's also worked on several other small projects like What We Do in the Shadows and The In-Betweeners. Overall, I think he brings a humor to the table that we don't see in any of the other directors. Now we've got two writers. The primary writer is going to be Jon Favreau. He's worked on a lot of diverse stuff. Swingers, The First $20 Million is Always the Hardest, Maid, Couples Retreat, and Chef, which is his own story. He wrote that entirely himself. He has a wide range of work, and there's no real niche per se, so I'm excited to see what he does with Star Wars as a writer. Now this is potentially the most exciting thing right here. The other writer on the show, and it's only confirmed for one so far, is George Lucas. That's right, the big man himself is writing at least one of the episodes. I can't begin to express how excited I am to have him taking a direct hand in a Star Wars project. Even if it is only writing on one episode, I don't know if he's going to be writing more in the future, or if he just wanted to personally take care of a specific character or scene, but it's great just knowing that he's still involved and that Kathleen Kennedy is still welcoming him. Now, for the executive producers, we again have Jon Favreau. Aside from what we already talked about here, he's produced several works, including the 2016 Jungle Book and its upcoming sequel, a lot of the Avengers movies, Young Sheldon, The Orville, Cowboys and Aliens, and The Big Empty. I'm even more impressed with his work as a producer than I am with his work as a writer. I just can't say it enough. He's a great fit for this project, even if Cowboys and Aliens was kind of bad. Then we have Dave Filoni. As well as writing the Clone Wars and Rebels, he's also produced Forces of Destiny, which is Disney's women's empowerment shorts. You can find them on their YouTube channel, and I'll put a link to that as well in the comments. Next, we have Kathleen Kennedy. And say what you want about her and taking over Star Wars, but she is amazing. Did you like E.T.? The Twilight Zone? How about Indiana Jones? Gremlins? The Goonies? She's worked on all of them and so many more that I could do an entire other video just about her history producing amazing shit. I have every confidence that she is working to make Star Wars the best that she can. Last, for the executive producers, we have Colin Wilson. He's worked on big-name hits like Jurassic Park, Casper, Amistad, and Tomb Raider, War of the Worlds, Zero Dark 30, Suicide Squad, and The Meg. Now, these movies are all movies that I love, and honestly, I'm surprised to see this guy working on them and that I've never heard of him before. And then we have the co-executive producer, Karen Gilchrist. I'm not sure what the difference is between a producer and a co-producer, but with works on Iron Man 2, Cowboys and Aliens, Chef, the 2016 Jungle Book, and the upcoming The Lion King, I'm fairly confident that she'll do her part. Now, for cinematography, we have the phenomenal Greg Fraser. With work on movies like Zero Dark 30 and Rogue One, I think we can tell that this is going to be a visually dark series. Some gritty and intense, probably faster-paced action-adventure scenes. With that said, it isn't going to be a Bayformer with unnecessary explosions everywhere. A lot of slower personal scenes and beautiful wide-pan environment shots. He's got just a little bit of everything under his belt. For casting, we have Sarah Finn. Now, there's way too much to talk about here for all the stuff she's done, but some of the big ones are The Predator, Alpha, The Jungle Book, Dredd, and Tron, as well as virtually all of the MCU movies and the modern Kong and Godzilla movies. I'm more than impressed with her work, and I'm sure that she will select the exact right people for the perfect roles. Now, working for her as casting assistants, we have Molly Pinto. I couldn't put a picture up here because she's unfortunately such a small name that I could only find another Molly Pinto who's a pianist. So I guess go Molly Pinto the pianist, you're more popular than Molly Pinto the casting assistant. She's worked on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Ray Donovan, and The Man in the High Castle, as well as several of Netflix's Marvel shows. And then the other casting assistant we have is Jason B. Stamey. He seems to have worked on the same movies as Sarah Finn, so he has the same confidence that she does. That's all I have today. I'll continue to post updates as they come out for The Mandalorian, and I'm working on more videos to cover other upcoming Star Wars projects. For the time being, my Let's Plays will be put on hold because I'm in the middle of a move and I don't have any of my consoles. I could do some PC Let's Plays, but I'm honestly not that confident that my computer can record and play at the same time. This project was a lot harder than I thought it would be going into it, so if you liked this video and made it this far, please like the video and leave me a comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay updated with me as more Star Wars announcements are released. If you know a friend that you think would like this content, it would mean the world to me if you could tell them about this video. It really helps me because I don't post often enough for YouTube to put me at the top of search results.